Welcome back, everybody. This is Mr. Lowe for part 2 of our unit review. We're going to start off with problem number 8. It says a parallelogram with 2 missing angle measures is shown. What is the measure of one of the missing angles? Well, we talked about this in class today. We know that a parallelogram is a quadrilateral, and a quadrilateral has a total of 360 degrees in it. That being said, we know that this angle here and this angle here are given to us, and if we add those two together, 35 and 35 equals a total of 70 degrees. All we have to do to figure out the other two is take 360, the total degrees in the entire object, and subtract from it 70 degrees. And when I subtract those two numbers, I end up with a total of 290 degrees that will be split evenly into both of these angles. Because of this, all we have to do now is take 290 and divide it by 2. 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 9 4 times, with 1 left over, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. That gives us a total for one of those angles at 145 degrees. And we're going to move on now to the last question on this page. Katie's putting together a birdhouse. The birdhouse has several pictures with different angle measures. 2 pieces are shown with the measures labeled. We have a 90-degree measure right there, and we have one that says 120 degrees. The next piece Tori needs, or not Tori, Katie, sorry, that should say Katie, should be about 110 degrees. We want to look at the following triangles, this one, this one, this one, and this one, to determine which one could be roughly 110 degrees. Well, it's not going to be A, because A has all acute angles in it, and acute angles are less than 90 degrees. It won't be B either, because B also has acute angles. The question then becomes, is it going to be angle letter C, or is it going to be letter D? Both of these angles are obtuse, and one of the things that I recommend that you do is you get a straight edge, and we'll make a reference angle for us, about 90 degrees straight up. That's going to give me a better idea as to which of these two angles is what I'm looking for. So I know this measure right to here is 90 degrees. The question then becomes, which one of these measures will get us closest to 110 degrees? And the correct answer is, of course, letter C. So, hopefully you have no questions. If you do, you can always remember that you can press stop and rewind. You can watch the video over again, or you can come and see me for help tomorrow before the quiz. Moving on to the next page. We have question number 10. Construct 2 triangles that are congruent and explain what makes them congruent. Well, let's talk about congruent angles. Let me get a triangle over here, and I did this for you guys in class, so hopefully you're going, oh yeah, I remember this. We're going to label this one. Let's call this triangle CAT. And we say one of the first things we're doing when we're making constructions is we want to get a straight line that is longer than line CT. And then I need to go into my toolbox. And there we go. And I need to get my math tool. And let's get our compass out. And when we get our compass out, I want to flip it around here so I can get it all set and ready to go. We're going to measure the distance between point C and the distance between point T, and we'll make a little arc there. And go over here to my line segment that I did, and we'll make another little arc on this side. Then what I'm going to do is flip this around, so that will allow me then to measure the distance between point C and the distance between point A. And I make my mark there. We're going to do the same thing over here, and this one's going to be kind of out in outer space. It's not going to look like anything just yet, but it will momentarily. Put your anchor on point T. Pencil on point A. We'll make a mark so they crisscross. Put your anchor over here on the mark that we drew first, because that's where T prime is, and it crisscrosses. Now that I have all my line segments all done, my dots already, now I can go ahead and make my triangle. And it's going to go from here to here, and from here to here, and presto, I have created two congruent triangles. The definition of congruent is when two objects are the same size and same shape. Just make sure you have both the same size and the same shape. Now we're going to move down to problem number 3. Problem number 3 wants us to look at the triangle below and measure, record the 3 angles using your protractor. The first angle, I don't really need to measure it because I know this measure right here is a 90-degree angle. So angle A is 90 degrees. Then I'm going to get my protractor. It's in my tools. That's the second time I've done that. And we want to measure angle B. So we're going to set my crosshairs right where they're supposed to be. And let's spin this thing around until we get right to 90. And we are measuring this line right here. And that is going to be, it looks to me, about 130, well, not 130, about 36 degrees. I think, oh, you know what, it's going to be 35 degrees because this has got to be back just a little bit. So it's 35 degrees for angle B. And again, because I know that every triangle has a total of 180 degrees in it, all I would have to do is add 90 plus 30, and that would, or not 30, 35, sorry. Here, let me fix that for you guys. 90, let's try this again, plus 35. That equals 9, 10, 11, 125 total degrees. And then I can take 180 degrees and subtract from it 125 degrees. And I get 55 degrees for the measure of angle C. Any questions? Excellent. So far, so good. I have one more question to go. Calculate the measure of angle B and explain. Oh, Felicity's telling me I have 2 more questions to go. I have 2 more questions to go. Calculate the measure of angle B and explain how you know what supplementary angles are. Well, I'm going to go ahead and explain supplementary first. Supplementary angles are adjacent angles whose sum is equal to 180 degrees. So if I know that these 2 angles are adjacent to each other, this angle is adjacent to this angle, their sum is going to be 180 degrees. Angle A is 43. I just wrote 45. Bye, Felicity. Don't forget to study for your math test. Angle A is 43 degrees. To figure out the measure of angle B, all I need to do is do 180 minus 43. And that looks to me like it will be 137 degrees. So far, so good. One last question. And then we're done. This one should be easy. It's definition of obtuse and acute. An obtuse angle is an angle whose measure is going to be greater than 90 degrees, but it also has to be less than 180 degrees. And the definition of an acute angle then is an angle whose measure is greater than 0 degrees, but less than 90 degrees. And we go ahead and draw a couple of angles for you so we can see them. I'm going to use my straight edge here. So we're going to do one obtuse angle this way and this way, and one acute angle. And I think we'll go ahead, put some arrows on them because they are rays. Here and here. We're going to measure that angle that way. We're going to measure this angle this way. We got to give them names. We're going to call this one A, B, C. And this one C, A, T. And that just about does it for our review. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and good luck on the test. Remember, if you have any questions, make sure you ask.